How many times in any given day, week, or month you find yourself saying, I can't afford that. I can't buy that because I can't afford it. Well, we're going to look today at how we can rephrase our thinking and how we can rephrase the words we use so that we are, instead of saying, I can't afford that, or I can't buy it because I can't afford it, we can then start to recognize that I'm not going to buy that because I don't want to spend my money that way. Let's look at how we can transform the way we think about whether or not we can afford things and whether or not it's an important thing that we need to purchase. Welcome or welcome back to Ira Living. Today we're going to be looking at the statement that is often said, which is, I can't afford that, or I can't afford it, or we can't afford it as a family. Now, what I want us to focus on is the different groups of people where this statement is concerned and how each group of people approach the statement and deal with it in their own way. And then you can decide which of these group of people do you want to align yourself with and how do you want to speak about ways in which you spend your money. Because oftentimes we say we can't afford things, but can we really not afford it? And also, is it that we just do not wish to spend our money that way because we have better plans for it? Or we feel that our money can be better spent? Now, when we say those things, especially when we're speaking to young people and children, we're giving them an impression of the fact that they can't afford certain things, which born out an idea of scarcity. But is it actually that we are giving them an idea that they need to prioritize their spending? And if so, shouldn't we be phrasing the statements differently? Now, for this video, to give us a practical reference, we're going to use a family holiday on a cruise. Now, first thing, the first group of people we're going to look at are the poor. The poor will see this opportunity and they will concede and conclude that they're unable to afford it. Now, they haven't stopped to examine all of the different aspects of ways in which this could be affordable. They haven't stopped to look at whether or not they could get grants to help them to go on it. They haven't stopped to look at how they could find savings to go on it. They haven't stopped to look at how they could get offers to go on it. They haven't looked at how they could save up over a long period of time to be able to afford this at some point in the future. They just look at it and they conceded, we cannot afford it. And they say that because of the way in which they think about money, their mindset on the matter. And so they phrase it in such a way that already shows defeat. It's a closed mindset. It's a fixed way of thinking. This cannot happen. And so we don't look for different approaches, different ways in which to make it a reality. Now, the second group of people that we're going to be looking at is the rich. Now, with the same context of the cruise holiday. Now, the rich sees it and they think, we want this, or some might even think they need it. And then what they do is they take it out on credit. So they take it out and have their gratification and then pay for the consequences later on. And so they will end up have a long period of payment that they will need to repay and end up paying an exceptionally high cost for something that they have enjoyed in their past, that they're still paying for now and in the future. Oftentimes, by the time they finish paying for it, it might have been that they've paid a value that is twice the cost of what that cruise holiday would have cost them. Now, the third group of people we're going to be thinking of are the wealthy. Now, the wealthy seize this cruise opportunity. They plan for it and purchase it. And in so doing, they have now gotten to a place where they can enjoy the fruits of their labor because they've now paid for the holiday, they have no debt incurred, and they're able to go about doing it. Now, the difference with them and how the poor thought was the fact that they did not say that they can't afford it. In their minds, they think, okay, well, this is something we want to do, and we are able to do that. However, we need to plan it out. So they plan for it. And in so doing, they're putting the monies aside that are relevant to do that cruise, and then they pay for it and go away and enjoy themselves. The fourth group of people are the financially emancipated group of people. And these are people who have gotten to a place in their life where they understand how money works. They know they don't need to gravitate to have excessive amounts of it, but they know how to manage the money that they have and how to utilize it for their advantage. So they know the things that they don't need to buy. They also know the things that they want to buy, and they know how to plan for and acquire those things. So for those people, they would decide if going on a cruise is something that they actually really want to do as a family or as individuals. And if it is, then they would then make the decision as to how they're going to be going about acquiring that holiday for themselves and then be able to go on it. Now, all of these different groups of people, it boils down to the importance they place on two things. The importance they place on what it is that they want to acquire, and the importance they place on the monies that they have and how they can acquire more money. It's also a fact as to the knowledge that they have as to how they can acquire money, and whether that knowledge is that they have limited ways of acquiring it or they have unlimited ways of acquiring money. So it boils down again to the mindset that each group of people possess. Both the wealthy and the financially emancipated have the self-discipline to wait until they are able to afford it, to plan for and wait until they are able to afford it before they actually acquire it. Then they give themselves the privilege to enjoy it. Delayed gratification is a responsible choice, and it's a choice that will be showcased by people who are wealthy and people who are financially emancipated, because they understand how to use money for their advantage. They are therefore more likely to say things like, I don't want to spend my money in that way, or I don't wish to spend my money to buy things like those. Or they might say, that is something that I would like to have, and I'm going to plan out ownership of it. Or they might say, that's an experience I would really want to give myself or to give my family, and I'm going to have a look at how we might be able to achieve it. Your mindset and the way in which you speak things have a significant impact on the things that you're able to achieve, what you're able to acquire, and how you're able to enjoy the different experiences that are available to you out there in the world. Remember, financial literacy is revolutionary. It has transformed my life, and I believe that it can do the same to yours.